pra quem tá assistindo, de volta aqui com o Fallout 4 Sobrevivência. Já tô aqui na frente do instituto pra gente falar com o pai. Que ele vai querer dar uma carcadinha por causa que a gente falhou na missão e blá blá blá. E só pra gente ter um pouquinho de combate, que os próximos episódios não vai ser tanto combate, vamos matar todos os supermutantes que estão aqui dentro? Vamos subir aqui. Vamos lá. Você é lendário? Não. Como é que vocês estão atirando? Não dá pra ver. Nagmate, colabora. Isso aqui eu quero. Você é sempre útil.
Operating at full capacity. Reporting status. All functions normal.
Eu acho que já acabou o combate. Avançado isso aqui a gente consegue abrir. Esse foi todo o combate que teve. A gente já vai procurar lá o loot do lendário. Opa, jet, isso é bom. Eu juro, o que eu queria era só uma caixa .50 dessa arma aqui. Eu não tô pedindo muito. Cara, vou devolver as armas que eu não quero. Tá bem modificado, viu? Não que preste nessa altura do jogo. Os bolsos de prata. Uniforme militar não compensa. Opa, vestidinho vermelho. Isso aqui seria bom pegar por causa dos parafusos só. Aqui é pra onde a gente subiu. Vamos ver lá embaixo. Eu não lembro se aqui tem revistinha.
All systems nominal.
Mas vamos descer lá primeiro, por causa que o supermutante fez o favor de cair lá embaixo. Eles são muito nível baixinho, tá? É daqui. É daqui. Carne de Madelark. Movida a radiação. Tá. Não presta, tá? Existe coisa melhor. A gente tem a da Irmandade de Ácido, esses negócios de movido à radiação. Vou pegar a cerveja, deixa o porongo aí. Faca de mesa não quero. Cartucho 10mm. Cigarro. Beleza. Vamos lá falar com o pai. É na escada dos fundos, tá? Banheiro tem nada. Esse banheiro nada também. Nada. Tampa de garrafa. Tão bom pegar as coisas tranquilo. Já tava jogando DayZ até agora. E você fica meio tenso jogando DayZ. Porque você nunca sabe se você não prestou atenção direito, se algo pode dar errado. DayZ você pode morrer só porque você olhou errado. Menor descuido. Ei, Sean, você é mó babaca, vamos conversar.
Son?
You know, in all my years, I've never set foot outside the Institute. Not once. Since the day they brought me here. I've never had a reason. But now, this just confirms the truth I've always known. The Commonwealth is dead. There's no future here. The only hope for humanity lies below.
So why come out here?
To put things in perspective, I suppose. Standing here, I'm reminded of how fortunate I am that I was spared a life in this wasteland. I know that to you, I was kidnapped from that vault. In truth, the Institute rescued me. Both of us, really.
But why refreeze me?
As a failsafe, of course. I was the perfect candidate. An infant with uncorrupted DNA. But if something were to go wrong, if I died, well, the Institute realized a contingency plan was prudent. Another source of pre-war DNA, preferably related to their primary subject. It only made sense that my parents should fill that role. So you were kept alive and safe within the vault. I'll admit, when I had you released from Vault 111, I had no expectations that you'd survive out here in all this. To not only do so, but manage to find me. To infiltrate the Institute itself. Extraordinary.
Why let me out now? After all this time.
Well, that's hard to explain. Certainly, it was no longer necessary to keep you suspended. Well, I suppose I wanted to see what would happen. An experiment of sorts. Would the Commonwealth corrupt you? As it has everything else? Would you even survive? Perhaps most curious to me, would you, after all this time, attempt to find me? And now I know the answer.
Well, here I am. Was it worth it?
I believe so. Soon, I hope you'll understand. Everything I've done has been for the future. A future which I hope is not in jeopardy after recent events. Bunker Hill did not go well for us. Would you care to explain what happened?
We were totally ambushed. They were waiting for us.
You can imagine that I find that very hard to believe, given that all the intelligence leading up to this indicated we'd taken them by surprise. Bunker Hill was to cement your place as a valuable asset to the Institute. It will now only raise suspicions. And to see the Brotherhood of Steel involved in this? They had no way of knowing what was going on. I will refrain from sharing the outcome with the Directorate for the moment. Things are already in motion that this would only derail. Speaking of which, it's time for you to become more involved in the future of the Institute. I'd like you to join me inside. The Directorate is meeting, and you should be there. I'll be waiting. I've seen enough. It's time to go back in.
Essa atitude do chão é o que a... Como é que é o nome dela? A doutora que a gente veio buscar aqui no instituto tava falando. Você tá dando muito soco. A cientista da Brotherhood que a gente veio buscar no instituto, era disso que ela tava falando. O Sean, ele oculta muita coisa dos outros líderes. A doutora ali. Headshot lindo. Headshot. É só porque sim, tá? Que eu tô fazendo isso. É só porque matar esses carinhas aqui é legal. Acho que acabou. Acabou nada. Já peguei visão de mais um aqui, ó. Tiro no popô. Tá, eu acho que foi todo mundo. É só porque Raider bom e Raider morto, né? Convenhamos. Bora. A gente tá com fome, com sede. Vamos tomar uma água aqui. Cadê minhas comidinhas? A gente tá com sono, mas não tem problema. A gente tá na reunião com o Sean. Na teoria ele spawnou lá embaixo também, tá? Por isso que ele tá aqui ainda. Vocês não fazem ideia de quem vocês estão trazendo aqui pra dentro.
Good, we're all here. I think it's time we begin.
Sir, excuse me, but what exactly is she doing here?
I will address that issue. But there are other subjects that require our attention first. The level of unrest in the Commonwealth continues to rise, as we're all aware. Your report.
All Institute facilities remain completely secure with the exception of one notable breach. Otherwise, internally, things are as tight as they've ever been. Dr. Ao has been keeping an eye on things topside.
Yes, Watchers show no additional threats beyond those previously identified. We're still monitoring the increased activity around Fort Independence, but there are no immediate signs we should be concerned. Boston International Airport remains occupied, with Brotherhood presence noted at several other points throughout the Commonwealth. Intelligence suggests that this railroad continues to operate and is becoming more ambitious. SRB agents are monitoring all known situations, sir.
Very good, thank you. It's clear that our safety needs to be the primary concern going forward. To that end, where are we on Phase 3?
Excuse me, but sir, are you sure this is, well, the proper time to be discussing that? Considering, I mean, given all parties present?
Ah, yes, that's true. Have you heard anything about Phase 3?
What's Phase 3?
It's very important to us. Power is, as I'm sure you've seen above ground, a very valuable commodity. I'm not talking about some abstract concept of control. I mean real, tangible power. The kind that keeps the lights on. With every advance the Institute makes, our need for raw power increases. Many compromises and sacrifices have been made over the years to allow progress to continue.
What kind of compromises?
We have at times had to rely on drawing power from above-ground installations. It risks personnel and equipment, but no longer. Phase 3 is simply the activation of a nuclear reactor that can provide enough power to the Institute now and forever. It will ensure not just our survival, but our prosperity.
Can you tell me more about this reactor?
Certainly. It was originally built for the Commonwealth Institute of Technology before the war, but was only for testing. Over the years, we've advanced the technology, made a great many improvements, and are finally nearly ready to activate it. The reactor is close to ready, but recent tests have determined we have a few tasks ahead of us. Thus, we come to Phase 3, and to how you will help.
Sir.
Yes, Dr. Ayo. Previously, we would rely on Kellogg for above-ground operations, yes? Well, he is gone. While I am not overly fond of putting my own mother in harm's way, she has proven more than capable of handling herself.
Yes, but...
This is not a matter for debate. Now, there is one more subject that requires discussion.
I don't know that this is the time.
Dr. Holdren, it is time. Please. As I'm sure several of you are already aware, I have been under Dr. Volkert's care for some time. I'm sorry, this is difficult for me. Our best efforts have failed. Every experimental treatment we could devise has been unsuccessful. I'm sorry to say I am dying.
No!
You can't
Please,
be serious.
everyone, please. I am sorry. This is not how I wanted to tell you, but we're running out of time.
You're dying?
I'm afraid so. A very aggressive form of cancer. Believe me when I say we've done everything we can. We can talk more later. Right now, the future of the Institute is at stake. The Institute cannot survive without leadership. The Directorate must continue to govern with the best interest of all in mind. To that end, I am naming my mother as my successor.
Oh, boy.
You can't be serious!
Really?
How can you possibly justify this? She isn't one of us. She isn't even a scientist.
Ignoring your borderline, insubordinate tone, I will simply say this. The Institute has enough scientists. What it needs is a leader. I believe my mother has already proven herself more than capable in that regard. This will conclude this meeting. Thank you.
It's great to have you here.
Our technology must seem pretty advanced by your standards.
I often wonder what the Institute's founders would think of our accomplishments.
I had no idea.
I know this is... well, it's a lot to take in at once. I'm sorry, Mother. I hope it wasn't too presumptuous of me to put you in charge without even asking first.
What would it mean to be in charge?
Most divisions of the Institute are fairly autonomous, perfectly capable of functioning without intervention. Where those divisions interact, however, problems can arise. You'd lead the Directorate in setting policy, resolving disputes, and the like. There's no question that some of the Directorate and the Institute at large will need reassurances about your appointment. That's why I'd like you to take charge of this latest operation. Dr. Fillmore can fill you in on the details. There are hard decisions ahead for all of us, but for you especially. I know that you'll do the right thing.
E é aqui onde praticamente a gente para com as quests do Instituto. Tá disponível o Companion daqui e Mass Fusion. É da hora que na linha de quest esse Companion do Instituto ele é o último que você pega, né? Porque você pega, libera ele na linha de quest do Instituto, no final da linha de quest. Porque Mass Fusion já é a quest que você vira inimigo da BOS. Então é muito no final. Ela falou o seguinte, eu vou encerrar esse vídeo por aqui. Próximo vídeo a gente já vai fazer a quest que tem aqui dentro, que é da ferrovia. Entrar em contato com o Patriota. Então, valeu, falou e até a próxima. Fui!